So you want to grow your website traffic. The question you're staring at, should I use humans or should I use AI? Honestly, it's even crazy we're asking this question, but here's why. In the last 24 months, AI has accelerated more rapidly than the Godfather of this entire industry thought it would. Geoffrey Hinton, known as the Godfather, said he thought we had 50 more years of advancements to make. Instead, in the last 24 months, AI went from a few 100 million data points to over 174 billion data points. That is some of the fastest growth we've ever seen in any technology or field to date. And that's why we're here asking this question. Honestly, it's wise of you to ask this question, because if there are more efficient, better ways to run your business, why wouldn't you run in that direction? If we're building up our own real estate, our own website with traffic, that's a lot of hard work. So if there are ways to decrease the time and work involved, then why not do it? With AI, one writer can now do 10 times more content than they previously could. I work as the president at Consonance Scale, and I see this on a daily basis. In fact, our users are producing over 50 million words per month. I used to run a human writing agency, and it took us 5 years to develop that much content. Pretty insane. So before we dive into how to make the switch or the leap from human-only SEO content production, which is now ancient, you might as well think of it as writing a book by hand instead of using a typewriter. That's how much AI is here to stay and shift our content work as we know it. But let me tell you how extraordinarily well AI content is working for me. So before I joined Consonance Scale, I was a diehard, still am, content marketer. In fact, long-form content was how I grew over 5 individual businesses that I ran at one point. One of my top sites, my writing agency, grew to over 1,000 published blogs and over 100,000 per month in revenue and visitors. All organic, no ads, no funding, and there were some weeks I was only working a couple hours per week. So in January, whenever I found Consonance Scale, and I not only embraced this technology, but I came over here to work for them and joined the dark side. Actually, this is the good side. I fully adopted AI because I can't really talk the talk if I don't walk the walk, right? So that's why 90% of my blog content at Content Hacker, the brand I've been running for 4 years, is completely AI written with a little bit of human editing. So here's how I did it and how it's going. As of June 2023, my site ranks for a little over 11,000 keywords, and you can see consistent growth. So what I did was I had a knowledgeable writer basically drive the AI machine. That writer optimized that content and made it ready for publishing. And I saw my writer go from spending 8 hours per blog, these are 3,000 word, well-researched, high-quality pieces, to 1 to 2 hours using AI. And not just any AI. ChatGPT would have added hours. It's not well researched. It's very superficial. It often just spits out what already exists. The reason why Consonance Scale works so well for me and my brand, and now over 1,000 additional users that are putting Consonance Scale to use for their websites every day, is because of the quality that Consonance Scale is built with. This AI technology stack is a miracle. It produces well-researched, high-quality, non-duplicate, 100% original content. And you can actually check these things in the tool itself. You can check for plagiarism. You can check for AI detection. You can check your keyword usage. That's why it saves time. Not to make this a sales pitch, but it literally was the only AI technology I could find that augmented my writer's time so incredibly much and boosted her output by 7 to 10x. So when that happened in January at Content Hacker, I got fully on board the AI train. You can't say no and you can't refuse to adapt when the adaptation of that technology or method would actually serve you better in the long run. So I had to ditch snobby writer syndrome and I had to say, yeah, AI is just as good, if not better than me. And what's interesting is what's happening today. Because of that decision I made in January, as of now, around 6 months later, I'm actually seeing a record amount of leads coming to Content Hacker, using my website, using my resources, applying to my coaching program, taking my courses. So what I'm seeing is this AI content is actually working. It's amazing. And that's why I'm delighted to share with you this topic, Because not only can I say that AI content will save you time and money, but it will actually work. And your content can still build incredible trust and bring raving fans, provided you are still you. So now that you have some context, let's talk about how to do this. How do you actually make the switch from human only to AI content? So the old way of doing content was actually very, very difficult. You try to find a good SEO writer. That writer can cost you 12 cents, maybe a lot more. And you might still have to train them a few skill sets. They're going to take over a week to write one really good long form blog. If you rush them, the content won't come out as good. And then you're going to have to edit it. You're going to have to make sure that that human didn't put any human errors in that content. So let me share with you the new way of doing content, something that we call AIO, where the human becomes the optimizer instead of the person responsible for doing endless hours of work that just bogs them down. So here's how that goes. First, you need to get Consonance Scale. You can get access to it and write content for under $30 per post. You get great content generated within 10 minutes. Then you hire a writer, anywhere from $15 to $30 an hour, depending on expertise that you want to hire for. It can take them anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to edit that piece, depending on what you want to add in. Have them follow my craft framework, which we talk about extensively here on the YouTube channel. I've also published blogs on it. But if you follow this framework, you get error-free, personalized content with that E for experience that Google appreciates. The framework is CRAFT, and it stands for cutting the fluff, reviewing and optimizing the keyword usage in that content piece, adding images, visuals, fact-checking, and then trust building by adding personal story, touch, tone, links, etc. In less than 2 hours, using the new AIO approach, you can have a long-form, high-quality, amazing piece of content ready to go. Compare that to the old way of doing it, when I've seen it take over a month to produce that same level of output. In fact, at Consonance Scale, we surveyed our user base a few months ago and asked them what kind of time and cost are they saving. On average, they were saving 11 cents per word in cost. That's hundreds of dollars per post, and 11 hours of time per post. Again, hundreds of hours on content. This is the new way of doing content. Whenever you hire your AIO writer, you should put a job posting out that covers the expertise that you want to see in that content piece. So if you talk about SEO, you want a writer that knows SEO. They're going to be able to edit that AI output with intelligence. If you're a fashion designer, you want a writer with that kind of knowledge. What I've recommended and what has worked really well for me is to look for people in these industries that are a little burnt out and they would prefer to write. Not have to talk to clients, not have to interact, and just write. Because for a writer, let me tell you, that's heaven. So if you can find somebody in your industry, whether that's in groups or with a job posting where you state this, and then you train that person into an AIO writer, that's amazing. You can also take a very skilled, talented writer and train that person into an AIO writer. You can also take a novice that wants to learn how to write, that wants to learn AI, and have them intern on your content. There's a lot of creative ways to approach this new model and actually win. Get content produced way faster and honestly better. Let me demonstrate just how easy it is to create a high quality, informative piece of content with AI. So I want to show you just how easy it is to get content going with the AI that Consonance Scale built. So first, you're always going to start by adding a project. As you can see, I have quite a few going on here. So here's how I filled out my project. All you need to do is name your project, add your website to it, one website per project, because you can actually integrate your project directly with the website platform that you use. We have more coming. And then you're going to fill out the context of your project, like what the brand actually does, the target audience. And then you can also choose to govern the language that this writes, over 100 different languages, and the region. So if you want the SEO of your piece to be specific to a region, city, state, you can actually choose that here, which is really cool. And then of course there's additional things here, post automations. You can choose to turn these things on or off. These are features inside of the post that the AI writes. You can add a specific CTA or let it write its own, and then you can set up a custom tone of voice by giving the AI your writing samples, which is really cool. So here's how to write a piece of content. Whenever you click add content, you can choose from a keyword from an existing blog post URL, a podcast episode, a YouTube video, an audio file, a doc to post. Any of these choices will get you great output. I love to create long form content from a keyword, so that's what I'm going to do for this example. So here's the keyword I'm going to use. I want to target this keyword on the Content Hacker. This will bring me leads. Ideally, I know the competition number behind my keyword. That's something I'm going to use a software like Ahrefs, SEMrush, Keyword Finder to find out. But once I have the keyword, all I have to do is add the keyword, and then I can add a source if I want it to pull specifically from a URL, or I can save it to my content planner, and I can even customize the subheadings. But right now, I just want it to work its magic. You don't have to add context. This is not a tool you have to prompt a ton. It's already built to be a great SEO writer, so you don't have to do too much. So we're going to click Create Content Now, and then come back whenever it's done to see what it looks like. It is in the queue right here. Okay, here's the piece just a few minutes later. Look at the title. It's 2,000 words. We're definitely going to have to optimize it a little bit. And if you follow my framework, the craft framework, you won't really have questions on how to do that. This is a process that you want to go through to make sure the content reads well, sounds like you, has your personal touch, and is accurate in representing your brand well. So use that AIO approach, which is built on that craft framework, and you can't lose. But here's what content looks like straight out of AI. Now remember, we've chosen our custom tone of voice, so it's writing according to the Content Hacker style. And let me tell you, this nails the style. This is exactly how we talk to the people reading our site. They are creatives, they are dreamers. So for the AI to nail it that well is actually pretty mind-blowing. So here's the quality of the content straight out of the gate. We are going to have to go through and personalize this. As I mentioned, Content Hacker is highly personal. So there's a lot of personal stories, touch, tone that we're going to add to this. And that's okay. I have an AIO writer for that. But I'm going to save so much time, right? Because they're working from this instead of that raw draft. So here's that full piece. You can see that we've even got links to the tools and the references mentioned. So this is really great stuff for a start. And then over here we have the SEO optimization panel. We can actually see how many more times we need to include the keywords. We can see SEO insights, recommendations. We have a checklist that a writer could simply follow and just finish this out to correctly do the piece for SEO. In the research tab, I can, of course, check my content for plagiarism. This came back with absolutely no plagiarism, and this is an API call, by the way, to Copyscape, which is a tool I used for 10 years. Great tool to help you know if it's duplicate or not. And then I can also find out if it reads like a human wrote it, which this software actually specializes in doing, writing human-like content. So that's a look at Consonance Scale and how it writes content. So now you know, human or AI. The truth is, there's a best of both worlds where we don't have to actually throw out human work. In fact, the human being the last piece of this AIO approach could be one of the most important factors because it helps you continue to be you, which, remember I said at the beginning, is your most important piece in your content to being able to stand out, get trust, get noticed, and get buy-in from your audience. But you can still have the incredible time and cost and energy savings that comes with adapting to AI, because that is a miracle. I can't believe that we're here. So go forth, win, be amazing with the growth of your business and your website traffic. I hope to see you around here on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, tell me in the comments what you thought. I'd love to hear your burning questions and help answer those. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you more right here on the channel.